Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umbraze, and today I'm going to be talking about NeoVision. Specifically, I have wanted to do this for a little bit ever since we found out that this was coming out. This is my NeoVision guide. This is to help you understand exactly what NeoVisions are, how to get them, what you need to be worrying about, and potentially what you should do to plan in the future if you're on global, because this will be coming to global more than likely. What shape or form, that is yet to remain to be seen, but overall this should be a pretty good guide towards knowing anything and everything about NeoVisions, such and as of its launch day. So what exactly is a NeoVision? Well, a NeoVision is basically it is the equivalent of essentially the 8-star without it being the 8-star. That may sound a little confusing, but they are at the exact same level as a 7-star. They can go up to level 120, and they have that designation of being a 7-star, but their type of unit is basically a kind of only 7-star. There does not exist a 5-star base or a 6-star base. They start out as 7 stars, and that is what a NeoVision is. There is no NeoVision at a 5-star or 6-star level. It is a special type of 7-star. Now, for the sake of this type, for this video and for, designation terms, we're going to be calling them under two different types, pure as well as upgrade. Now, pure are essentially, they come out of the box at 7-star and are level 1 and go up to level 120. These are units such as the Final Fantasy VII Remake Cloud that you see here. Now, he drops from a special type of crystal, and I will try to show that as best I can for this video, but obviously it's a little bit difficult when you're recording these to get this type of crystal to drop, but we'll get there. Anyway, the second type of NeoVision unit is what I am calling upgrade. These are units that started out as a 5-star base, such as Tifa here. This is the OG Tifa that you see, and she was one of the select units, I should say, to get an upgrade into a NeoVision, meaning that she was originally a 5-star that got a 6-star that went up to the 7-star rarity, and now she has gotten a NeoVision upgrade. So that is why I am calling these ones upgrade. They are two types, and we will go into more detail about that a little bit later in the video. But for now, let's talk about summoning. So, as you all know, this is a rare gacha, and this is where you will be getting these characters from. Now, the rare gacha rates have changed on the Japanese version, and I'm sure that they will change on the global version when this comes to global. Currently, it sits at a 45% rate for a blue crystal to drop, a 45% rate for a yellow crystal to drop, a 10% rate for a rainbow crystal to drop, and out of all that 10% of a rainbow dropping, 1% of them will be NeoVision crystals. Again, NeoVision crystals, these reddish style crystals, will only have a 1% chance of dropping or showing up, but when they do, they are the higher quality, pure NeoVision characters such as Final Fantasy VII Remake Cloud. They will not be characters such as Tifa, Red 13, who have gotten upgraded forms. So there you are. And as one more note, from these red crystals, not only will you get a pure NeoVision character, you will also get a vision card. As the time of this recording, the way I understand it, these vision cards are randomized. Any of the ones that can show, anyone can show up from the pool that is currently available. It has also been said that vision cards will have the potential of other ways of getting them, such as Hell Arena Week on the JP side, and potentially a few other ways, but for now we understand that essentially when it comes to vision cards, there will be more ways to get it than just gacha, but I should make this 100% clear, this is not a split gacha. NeoVision characters come with a vision card, otherwise you will not see vision cards from your gacha. So let's do a summon. Please keep an eye out for red crystals that drop. Those are basically the NeoVision crystals. So let's just show it off. Unfortunately, we will not more than likely see one, but you can see the red crystals dropping in the background. Those are the type of ones you are looking for to get a NeoVision unit. And hey, we got Jack for the sake of this video, both literally and figuratively. Excellent. Now, what exactly does a Neo unit gain? Well, whether it is a pure or upgraded version, there's a couple of things that you will see in their kit. First of all, when they are upgraded to a slightly higher level than their initial level, known as EX level, you will gain access to an ability called Brave Shift. Brave Shift is basically changing a character's skill set. Not only that, but it also changes a character's equipment set. Now, for NeoVision units, be they pure or upgrade, they can actually share the same or different styles of equipment. For instance, Tifa right here, whether I'm switching her between her regular form or her Brave Shift form, have the exact same type of physical equipment as you can see, but the stats do change because when you shift to a Brave Shift form, not only are they gaining different abilities, they are also gaining different passives. So their stats are also changing a little bit too. But if you take a look at the Materia, both of my Tifas have different types of materia. So you can share or have completely different equipment sets. And therefore, this makes for an interesting level of strategy. So this is one extra thing that NeoVision units gain in terms of equipment. But they also gain a new equipment slot. Now, this equipment slot are called vision cards. If you have played War of the Visions or Epic 7, you will know exactly what I am talking about. They are basically just a different form of equipment. Here you can see the Leviathan vision card. Very cute. I love the animated. But regardless, it starts at level 1 and increases to level 10. It will gain extra stats as you level it. And not only that, but as you unlock certain levels, in this case, level 4 as well as level 10 will gain new abilities. So at level 4, this vision card will gain an extra 30% stats from Leviathan, making a Leviathan equip much more beneficial to any NeoVision character that has this card, as well as 30% spirit increase. Now, I have only equipped this to Tifa for the sake of showing this off, but there are different types of vision cards with different abilities, and there are going to be more than likely brand new ones added at a regular basis. Exactly how many are planned, we have no idea, and how big the pool will get, not entirely sure, but for now there are approximately about 5 or 6 vision cards that I am aware of as of recording. Now, continuing on, what other things can we see from NeoVision characters? Well, if you remember, I was talking a little bit about abilities, and these are some of the abilities. As you can see, if we hit Brave Shift mode, the abilities that are available change, meaning that a unit's kit can be very different between the two. Pure NeoVision units are a little bit different. We'll talk about that when we get to pure NeoVision units. But overall, there are different abilities, and the thing that is common between both of them, you will see upgradeable abilities. Now, these upgradeable abilities start out in a pretty darn basic form and are newer type abilities in the sense that Tifa, for instance, when she was a 5 to 7 star, did not have access to these abilities till she became a NeoVision. But if we look at these ones with level 1 aside them, as you can see, we can upgrade it using a new type of upgradable materials. These materials can be farmed from Mog Kings, as well as there will more than likely be some different ways of getting them, but for the most part, it seems like Mog King and special events and special shops will be the current way of getting them. But I expect them to be fairly common into the future, so I would not worry about it too much. As you increase the ability from level 1 to level 2 to higher, it will require more and higher tier resources to upgrade them. But NeoVision units can be upgraded in that sense, and not only that, but they can also be upgraded in another way as well. NeoVision units can also be upgraded using the EX system. So the EX system starts out pretty simple. If we take a look, for example, clicking the right buttons, we can see that you start out at EX level 0. As you increase your EX level, you will end up to level 1, to level 2, and eventually to level 3. Now the benefits to these are laid out as you can see below me. EX level 1 mainly gains better stats as well as access to Brave Shift. When you get a NeoVision unit, they are not able to Brave Shift right away. You need to upgrade them to level 1, which is fairly simple. It will give them a nice stat boost, and it will give them that Brave Shift ability. Now, taking a look at EX level 2, EX level 2 also gains the benefit of having additional stats, but also gives a 100%, as I understand it, currently at the time of this recording, Super Trust Moogle, meaning that you have by doing this, you have access to like a super TMR of your choosing. And that is, of course, very valuable, and unfortunately for the recording of this video, I can't show it, but EX level 3 gives a vision card as well as more stats from what I have read, and so yes, you will need to upgrade these units in many different ways, shapes, and form. Now, the requirements between the two types are different, and this should be noted. So for an upgrade character like Tifa or Red 13, the amount of resources is a lesser rarity and requires less overall. For instance, EX level 1 of a upgrade unit only requires essentially a couple rainbows worth of the unit shards. Not necessarily too hard to get. For the sake of this video, we are not going to debate about how difficult it is, but essentially 75 I do believe it's 25 shards to initially awaken, 50 shards to get EX level 1, and another 75 shards to get EX level 2, and more to get EX level 3 and finish it off. Now, for pure units such as Cloud, it's more expensive, as you would kind of expect, because these new units are premium, have higher stats, and better hits. You will see that a EX level 1 would require 50 shards plus one of a different type of upgrade material. Now, how are these gotten? Well, for one thing, you can earn them through farming quests that will be added later. You will also be able to buy them from shops, and I'm sure as the game goes on, older units will become have much easier ways to farm these shards and get them. But for the sake of at the start of this system being implemented, the main way that you will see getting these shards and upgrade materials are through duplicates. Now, for me right now, to get Cloud up to EX level 3, we would require a total of 350 of his character shards, and basically the equivalent of 7 duplicates broken down. When duplicates of a NeoVision unit are broken down, they give not only character shards, but also the orbs as well. So for this, at the time of this recording, unless it is changed later on, NeoVision units require the equivalent of 7 dupes, and while this sounds incredibly expensive and difficult to get, because the NeoVision rates are only 1%, and At this time, there aren't really many other ways, and yeah, it's just expensive in general. It is a system that is essentially coming from Wotive, and Wotive did have other ways of getting character shards and became much more generous quickly, but the overall requirement of this system and upgrading the characters probably does mean that characters will last a little bit longer, and hopefully that the power creep will ease a little bit. Only time will tell. Now to talk about NeoVision in terms of upgrade units first, and then we will go into pure ones. Now upgrades come from old units, I've said most of this already. Now the thing that has been noticed from both Red 13 as well as Tifa is the fact that from their initial kits, most of it is the same, and into their Brave Shift form there aren't a ton of new abilities. Tifa, for example, the one that I've had the most experience with so far, seems to essentially gain a lot more in terms of a limit burst damage dealer. Her limit burst in her Brave Shift form is different, and that is the exact same for every NeoVision unit that has come out so far. Cloud, Red 13, and Tifa all have a new limit burst, or a different limit burst in terms of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Cloud has a different limit burst in his kit. Tifa's is much more damaging than her original, it would seem at the time of testing, so therefore that seems to be the big benefit of her Brave Shift, but Brave Shifts will allow for different styles of play. Either way, when it comes to upgrade units, so far it seems like their kits are mostly identical with some new things to make them a little bit better, but mostly are the same. Now, one other thing, once you form one of these NeoVision units, they do not come with a vision card. If you get them to level 2 and level 3, you will still get the benefits as far as has been explained by Alum, and improve stats, but you will not get a vision card by making one of these units. Vision cards, so far, only drop with the NeoVision crystal. And the other thing that is noted is that overall they seem to be much easier than EX, or than pure crystals, because even though they require a fair number of dupes to improve, overall, the main thing that seems generally easier about these units is that, for instance, Tifa and Red 13 can be UOC'd. Not only that, but with a higher rainbow rate, there will be more rainbows, and it will be easier to get these. Of course, the pool is pretty big, so take my advice with a grain of salt. And now let's talk about pure visions. Now, pure NeoVisions, I think, are by far and away considerably stronger, as you can see just from the initial stats that I have been able to get on day one. And even that, their upgrading seems considerably better as well. If we take a look at, for example, NeoVision's Tifa, upgrading her from from level 1 to level 2, she's gaining about 100 attack, whereas if we look at Cloud being upgraded from level 0 to level 1, he is gaining about 300 extra attack. Now, it could be percentage based, but it does seem like pure NeoVisions will probably have much better stats, and more importantly, better designed kits. And this is really important to note, that is why these units will be stronger, and people should not make the mistake that the older units getting upgraded aren't, considerably better than they were before. But I do expect pure visions to eventually become meta, although they do require a fair amount of upgrades. Upgrading abilities, as well as EX form, as well as all kinds of stuff, it is going to be a much slower process building these units. But that is a overall strength of the unit, and yes, I think I have covered about basically everything else about pure NeoVisions at this point. However, when a red crystal drops, just to reiterate one last time, it will be a guaranteed NeoVision unit. So currently, at the time of this recording, if a red crystal drops, it is Final Fantasy VII Remake Cloud only, and he will come with a random vision card. Duplicates are a possibility, more than likely, but has not been confirmed because I have not pulled many of them. All right, and so the last thing comes in that I want to talk about is breaking units, because the system of breaking and upgrading units has changed a bit. The UI has changed a bit, so let's go into it. Now, if you go from your unit selection screen down to the bottom right yellow button, where we normally go for awakenings, you'll notice as well that 7-star awakenings and crystal fusing has been moved. It has been moved basically to the final tab. You will be able to go down and break a unit. Unfortunately, I can't do it right now because that unit is locked, but the second tab will be for breaking down characters. And here, so if we take a look at right here, breaking down Tifa will give us 25 shards as well as one of the pearls needed to upgrade her NeoVision form. Now, if you had a 7-star fused version of this, you will get 50 character shards as well as 2 of the orbs. So do not worry if you have a 7-star fused version and you are worrying about getting less character shards for that. It is appropriately done. Now, however, if you take a 7-star character like Tifa right here, and I was to fuse these other 2 Tifas into the 7-star Tifa to get the Super Trust Mastery, the amount of character shards that you would get from that after fusing in is 50 shards only. You would only get 50 character shards. You would not get the equivalent of 4 Tifas worth, which should be 100. So if I was to break down all 3 of these Tifas, I will end up with a total of 100 character shards. If I went for the Super TMR here, I will end up with only 50 character shards. So you should measure how important a character's Super TMR is for the future so that you know whether or not to break down the unit or keep the unit as a whole. And other than that, this can be said. So for instance, if we were looking to upgrade Red 13 into his NeoVision form, we would basically need the equivalent of one of his lower class rainbows. But again, when it comes to Red 13, he has a pretty valuable Super TMR, so that one might be a little bit difficult. However, Tifa's Super TMR, I already have 1 copy of it, and I will not need a second copy, I feel like. So let's break down unit, and we'll break down 1 more. And now we will upgrade the EX of Tifa to level 2. So as you can see, her status has been increased. And I have lied about the super... okay. So, live and learn right in the middle of making the video. GG me. So apparently upgraded versions will not come with the benefits of a pure NeoVision. So we did not get the Super Trust Mastery. Yeah, what can you do? Sometimes it ends up that I thought that was a little bit too good of a deal. So for people who are wondering, you will not get a Super Trust Mastery with upgraded version units. It will only be pure NeoVision. So you'll definitely have to balance out your decisions with that. And I do believe that there was one other thing that I have kind of forgotten that just popped up, and now it has disappeared into the recesses of my mind. Yeah, I would have to, if I do remember exactly what it is, I will make an annotation in the description of this video, because I know I have forgotten something. It's just so much information to process in one day. Yes, hopefully you have found this guide very useful. I'm going to cut the video now, not just because of that, but overall, if there is anything that I have forgotten, please make note of it in the comments section, and I will add it to the video description to try and help people kind of understand and do all, or be ready for NeoVisions on global, because the more that you can plan for the future, the better your future will be. So anyway, thanks for watching, and take care, and I'll see you in the next video.